Good morning, friends. We're in this entry right here, going for 20 points, hopefully. But at minimum 10, it might come up to this high of the day and not go any further than that. So let's put our little line right there. But here's the beginning of the day, and we've had this just kind of, gradual continuing uptrend that's bounced off the 50-day EMA a couple times. Here's 21-day, here's 50-day, here's 100-day. And it gave us a nice signal bar here off of the 50-day again. It's not a second entry, which we would like to see. So, we come down here and there's no real pullback other than you could look at it as, you've got up and then it comes down and ticks below that bar and then comes up again, which is why I liked it. So, it comes down, it ticks below that previous bar, then comes up and gives you this real bullish bar. So, it's a kind of a good enough second entry at this area. If it happened in a random area, then I probably wouldn't pay attention to it, but it happened off the 50-day, and that seems to be the point of resistance down here and here, so we're hoping that it works out again. Doesn't mean it will, but it's a good risk. So, we'll get back to it here and see if it gets us out or not. Alright, we think it's going to gonna go ahead and get us out here. But it's taking its time. That's what happens when it's an hour and a half before the market actually opens. Which, by the way, is why I trade oil. Because it's got consistently good action before market open, and I can't really trade after market open, at least not most days. Some days I can, but anywhere from about 5 o'clock on is usually decent. 5 o'clock was a little slow this morning here. I usually start trading around 6 a.m. and there'll probably be consistently 2 to 3 setups from 5 to 8:30 Central Time. And this whole triple EMA thing is something new that I'm just kind of experimenting with. Well, we may have to put this back on pause. Yeah, we'll come back to it after it does something interesting here. Alright, so got us out. And we'll see if we can go for another 10 ticks here. Oh, it's been bouncing off of this for a little while. Took it a minute to go through. So who knows if this was a live account, if that would have got me out or not yet. There we go. Now we know for sure. So we can move our stop up to break even there. And oh yeah, this was measured move off of this just in case things turn sour. I could see the potential of where it could go. Thankfully it did not turn sour. So let's put this on pause and we'll see how this runner plays out, if it plays out. Alright, so it bounced off of the high, which we were kind of anticipating. It made this little bold bearish move down, so I just moved the target down for 5 ticks. I mean, it could bounce here off the EMA and go up to where I was hoping it would go, but it's really not worth the risk once it made this move here. So I just took my safe 5 ticks. So we got 10 and then 5. So that's not bad. And it's still only 7:30 in the morning. Another hour to go before the market open. So we'll put this back on pause and come back if anything interesting happens. Alright, so we've got I had positioned the runner back down to 5 ticks instead of 20 ticks, and it ended up out, I could have got 10 ticks out of it, I guess, if I'd put it where my other exit was. But I didn't think it was worth the risk after it bounced off of this point for a third time. But then it kind of works its way back up, and then it drops again. So this is, on this bar, I guess, is a potential short. And it could be a great short, but I'm not taking it. Just for the simple fact that I tend to screw these up. So, but it's a good signal bar. I mean, you've got 4 touches here, and you've got potential for this thing to at least come down to the 100-day EMA. So you've got, what do you got? Oh, there's 10. Yeah, you'd have to get down here for 20. So you've got room for 10 ticks, at least initially, maybe more. I mean, this could be, here's the low of the day is way down here. But I'm going to let this one play out. The overall trend of the day has been all up, and that's the main reason why this isn't tempting for me to go short. Plus, it's a little stacked up there. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. So, I mean, you can talk yourself in or out of almost any trade if you try hard enough. But we'll let this one move and see where it goes. All right, quick update. Last time we talked, we were here. It came down, and if you got into the right spot, you could have squeaked out by 1 tick if you're going for 10. But what does it do? It comes back down to the 50-day, because that is what it's doing today. It bounces and goes on a run. So Still waiting for something good to set up, but I don't have much time. It's about time for me to go. So we'll give it a few more minutes and then maybe call it a day. Alright, we're going to call it a day here, but I wanted to show you what happened. So we come up, we bounce off the 50 EMA again, and then come up and then come down and bounce off it again. So it's just one of those days. This is something that I kind of noticed a few weeks ago, and that's why I started playing with this multiple EMA thing. And so this is not every day. Sometimes if it's in a range or something like that, these EMAs don't matter. Sometimes it's the classic 21 EMA that you have to worry about. So I just found it interesting that there are a few days where if you notice it, that this is kind of consistent. We'll start bouncing off this 50. And this is just an oil. I haven't looked at the ES or the E-mini S&P. It's probably a little less, because oil's a little more volatile. It tends to have a little bit bigger moves with it. So something I found interesting. I don't know if it's viable over the long term or it's something that I've just started seeing that's not really there. That's that's easy to do in day trading, is think you have a pattern that doesn't really exist. So I'm going to continue to play with the multiple EMA in the future. But the one thing it does help me with, for whatever reason, is it keeps me typically on the right side of where things are going. Because as long as the 50, like in this instance, the 50 and the 100 are below the 21, so even though it's obvious that this is an up day, it kind of reminds me of that. So like when this big move happens down, I don't all of a sudden think I should just be looking for a short and then go short here and get fooled or something like that, because it's obvious that this is still an update. I mean, the 50's still down here. There's been no movement for them to cross over. So it just keeps my brain in check to make sure I don't fool myself. And of course it can have the opposite effect on occasion, where you do get a good setup that's going to reverse for the day, and maybe you hesitate because the 50's here, making it look like it's an up day or whatever. Nothing's perfect in this world, man. But calling it a day. Hope you guys have a good one.